What's up and welcome back, my friends. Let's talk about WandaVision. Now, I want to talk about predictions that I have for episode 4. So if you have predictions for episode 4, why don't you pause the video, go down to the comments section, and write what your prediction or predictions are first, and then come back and watch the rest of this, and then leave another comment about whether we've jived or not. All right, so I have 6 points that I think are going to come across in WandaVision episode 4. Now, the first one has to do with the ending of episode 3. We didn't see what happened to Geraldine Monica Rambeau after Wanda said you should leave. The next thing we see, she's gone. And the next time we see her, she's literally at that moment being ejected from Wanda's reality. We see her tearing through that television FX style of dome that is around Westview. So I think that episode 4 is actually not going to open up with Wanda or Westview, so to speak. It's going to open up with that scene that we didn't see in episode 3. It's going to open up with Monica's point of view, with Wanda telling her she should go, and then Wanda blasting her with her hex power through the wall of the house, right through the whole town of Westview, and literally spitting her out, spewing her into the night outside the field where S.W.O.R.D is waiting. Now, that part we saw. I also predict that we are going to see a lot more of S.W.O.R.D in episode 4. We are finally going to see Randall Park. Not only see him, he will have dialogue. And this dialogue is going to be important because I believe that we are finally going to get some answers from the S.W.O.R.D point of view as to what is going on, what they believe is going on. Now, this, of course, is going to leave a lot more questions, actually, than any of the answers it gives. But it will start putting that carrot, so to speak, in front of our donkey. Now, another point that we noticed last episode in 3, it was the first time, well, it was the first time for 2 things. One, it was the first time in the series that Pietro was mentioned, that her brother Quicksilver came up. And that's very important. It's also important that it was the first time ever that Vision was referred to as a synthezoid, something he's always been referred to in the comic books. I think we are going to get more of Pietro. I think that we are probably going to actually see, what's the actor's name? Aaron Taylor, maybe in some sort of flashback scene from their youth, possibly. But even if we don't see him, there will definitely be more mention of him. He will come up again. And this will fill in for us, the viewers and fans of the MCU. This will fill in a little bit more of Wanda and Pietro's backstory than we've gotten thus far. Now, the twins, Tommy and Billy, we saw just being born. They were literally newborns. That's not going to be the case when the show changes over. So now, like I said, I believe that the beginning of this episode, we're still going to see the last television show. We're still going to see that Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, Family Affair-esque style setting in the very beginning. However, that's going to change into the next season, the next show, and we are going to see that the twins are not newborns anymore, but they're going to be toddlers. And it's going to have a feel like the daughter Tabitha on Bewitched. Even though we've already covered Bewitched as a show, the feel is still going to be there, because just like Samantha had to cover up whenever Tabitha did magic in public, we're going to see the same thing. We're going to see the same comedy effect where Wanda and, I imagine, Vision is going to have to be dealing with their twins using powers that they're going to have to try to cover up. Now, remember, pretty much from the beginning, Wanda's whole thing seems to be fitting in, being normal. So they're going to have to cover up any magic or superpowers that their children are going to be displaying. Now we get to my last 2 points, and these 2 are sort of the build-up of the whole episode. I believe that by the end or the near end of episode 4, we are finally going to know who's behind this. We are going to get a sense, an audience reveal in one way or another of Nightmare. This is his doing. He is the one that's manipulating and controlling Wanda. She is the villain, but she's the villain because she's kind of conned into it, so to speak. She's not the villain because she believes that this is the greater good and it doesn't matter what happens, like Thanos. No, she's a villain by circumstance, I think you could call it. But Nightmare will be revealed in some capacity, definitely, in this episode. Now, this brings me to the real, true WTF moment of episode 4. Episode's 4 ending will be the biggest WTF moment in the series so far, because we are going to see the Beekeeper. The Beekeeper has had everyone abuzz since before the show even started. Now, let me remind you, as far as I know, I am the only one who has predicted that the Beekeeper is Vision. That's right, it is Paul Bettany as Vision, the real Vision, the real reconstructed, rebuilt Vision. Not the fantasy Vision that she has created. The real Vision, the one that to her is imperfect since his recreation, that is not really him. Not the him that she recreated. That is going to be the WTF moment at the end of the episode. So what are your predictions? What are you expecting to see in episode 4? Where do you think the story is going? Are these spoilers? Only if I'm right. If I'm not, this is just fantasy, is all it is. But no, what do you think is going to be the real WTF moment in this episode? By the way, I think next episode, and I may change this seeing what happens in episode 4, but I think the WTF moment in episode 5 is going to be Quicksilver in person. Anyway, so those are my top 6 predictions for episode 4 of WandaVision. What are yours?